Hello my dear student, welcome to Arunavasir bio class. So today we discuss the most important chapter for CBSE class 10, that is the control and coordination. So already we discussed the nervous system, also already we discussed the plant movement part, but now today we discuss the human beings. We have a specialized another system which control and coordinate our body very effectively, that is the endocrine system, that is the hormones. But before we start our class, so welcome all of you. Shayan, Sindrila, Shatanik, Oniket, Shorashish, Gaurav, Rasdeep, Anubhav, Samriddhi, Shohom, Sudipto, Dishari, Shomojit, Oindrila, Ankona, and Devarun and Shomoditto, Shutanu, Srijita, Debalina, Nirupama, Ishan, and the Krishnashish, Aroshi, Shouresh, Roshmi, Promit, Debargho, Saptorshi, Shomojit, Kaushani, Devopam. So at first we discuss about the glands. Endocrine glands, it is the one type of gland, but what is the glands? So glands are the organ which secrete particular some chemical substance. This one is called the glands. Three type of glands is present in our body, that is the endocrine glands, exocrine glands, another one is the heterocrine or the mixed gland. One by one we discuss this thing, but at first the exocrine glands. Exocrine glands, that means these glands secrete their product into ducts. Ducts means they have some pipe. Through the pipe, their secretion are transport from one part to another part. So they have the ducts, so they are called the exocrine glands. Like example, sweat gland, salivary gland, mammary gland, stomach, liver, all are the glands. All are the exocrine glands. But endocrine glands, this type of gland, their secretion are transported from one part to another by means of blood. They have no ducts. They have no pipe for the transportation. We have the different type of glands, that is we discuss in our today class, that is the endocrine glands. They secrete the hormones. Pituitary gland, pancreas, thyroid, adrenal glands, that is the different glands present in our body. So today we discussed most important part of CBSE class 10, control and coordination, hormones part, but this chapter also be present in another classes, also class 10, also another parts, also CBSE class 11 or IC 11, same chapter is there. So this chapter is very important for all of you. So very carefully listen that another one type of glands also be present in our body, that is the heterocrine gland. This is the mixture of two. That means the mixture of endocrine and exocrine glands. So this is called the mixed gland or the heterocrine glands. Example like the pancreas. So this is the three type of glands: exocrine, endocrine, and the heterocrine glands. Now we discuss our focus now in the endocrine glands. So endocrine glands, this is secrete the hormones. Hormones, what is the hormones? Hormones is a chemical substance. It is generally proteinous in nature, that is ultimately produces very minute amount, and they have the specific role in our body. But they are commonly referred to a ductless gland. So endocrine glands, ductless glands. They have no pipe, so their secretion must be transported from one part to another by help of blood or the lymph. In our body, different type of glands is there: pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, adrenal glands, pancreas, and thymus gland. All other some different glands also be there in our system. But now we today focus in some these glands only. First of all is the pituitary glands. Pituitary gland is the most important gland which is present in the cellar cavity in your brain, right? So this one is a very small gland. If we are discuss their structure, that time you observe that they have the two region. One is the adenohypophysis, that means the anterior part, another one is the posterior part. So two regions is there in their structure and they have a specific role. They secrete the specific hormone. At first we discussed the anterior lobe. They secrete the growth hormone, prolactin, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone. But between the two lobes, the intermediate zone is there. This is secrete MSH, most importantly melanocyte stimulating hormone. Posterior part, they also secrete some hormones. This is the vasopressin, which have the another name ADH, anti-diuretic hormone. Another one is the oxytocin. Now, at first, anterior pituitary. So this is the most prominent site of the pituitary glands. They secrete the different hormones. First of all, growth hormone. From this name you can understand that this is the help of the growth, right? So our body growth is mostly controlled by this growth hormone. Now the growth hormone also help to protein metabolism, also some mineral metabolism in our body. Also you know the growth hormone help in the carbohydrate, also the fat metabolism system. And if the growth hormone ultimately secrete in a hyper condition, that means in a much more condition, that time the gigantism disease are happening. Gigantism, hyper secretion, that means the more or secretion of the GH. Acromegaly, also this type of disease are happening due to the over secretion of the growth hormone. Dwarfism, this is the secretion, is not the hyper, this is the lower secretion or the hyposecretion of the growth hormone in your body can cause the dwarfism. That means the stunted growth are happening in there. Now the another one hormone, that is the prolactin. Prolactin are the help the mammary gland development and the milk synthesis. So in the pregnant time, after the pregnant time, when the child take the milk, that time this type of gland, that means prolactin, take the important role. Another one, thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone, this hormone are control the thyroid glands, and they are also the secretion from this thyroid gland T3 and T4, which will also be indirectly controlled by this TSH, which one secreted by the anterior pituitary. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, it is secreted by the anterior pituitary, but it is controlled the adrenal, that means the adrenal cortical parts of the adrenal corticotropic hormone. Adrenal cortex part are control their secretion by these hormones, right? Follicle stimulating hormone, it is also be secreted at the antipituitary part, and it is help for the growth of the pubertal maturation, also help the reproductive process in the male, also the female body. Luteinizing hormone, this hormone is most important, take the important role in the female body, also in the male body, but in the female body that take the important role in the ovulation, and in the male body they are help to production of the testosterone. Testosterone is a male hormone which is control your secondary sexual character, so it is most important hormone. Now the intermediate lobe, between the two lobes, the intermediate lobe which secrete the melanocyte stimulating hormone, which is most importantly ultimately control the colorations of the skin and the hair. Now the posterior end of the pituitary, they have secrete the two most important hormone. One is the anti-diuretic hormone, they are also be called the vasopressin, which is control the reabsorption of water from the renal tubules. So this is their most important function. Now diabetes insipidus, this disease is most important. This disease are most importantly controlled because when the ADH secretion is very low, right? So these conditions is most important, but we are called this disease the diabetes insipidus. It is the lower secretion of the ADH hormone. Now the another one hormone, this is the oxytocin. This is secreted from the posterior lobe of the pituitary. They help of the childbirth time. That time the female uterine muscle contractions happening due to the oxytocin. So these hormones and their function and from where they are ultimately secreted, that is the most important question in your syllabus. Now the thyroid gland. Thyroid glands also be present in the tracheal region. They also be the bilobe structure. The isthmus is the junction point when the two lobes are joined together. And you know the thyroid hormone secrete most commonly the two hormones T3 and T4. And T3 they are control the growth and development, your metabolism process, body temperature and heart rate also be controlled by the T3. On the T4 they are also that help the development and maturation for whole over your body. So these two hormones is the most important in your body, which is secreted from the thyroid glands. Another one hormone is the calcitonin, which is secreted from the thyroid, which is ultimately control the calcium level in your body. Now the disease related to thyroid gland, sometimes goiter, it is an enlargement of the thyroid gland. When someone they do not get the sufficient amount of iodine, that time this type of disease are happening, that is the simple goiter. Hypothyroidism, that means the secretion is ultimately lower or reduced, that time something ultimately disease are happening like simple goiter type of disease are happening. The hypothyroidism, that means the thyroxine hormone secrete is ultimately lower from the normal rate. But when the T3 and T4 rate are ultimately higher, that time also the different type of disease are happening like the exophthalmosis or exophthalmic goiter. This is another type of disease, but over secretion of this thyroxine hormones. Parathyroid glands, this is the ultimately the backside of the thyroid glands. The four parathyroid gland is there. That is the most important because it is help to they are secrete the parathyroid hormones and their main important function to control the calcium level, right? Next we discuss another important part, that is the pancreas. Pancreas is a mixed gland, but so they have the both function of endocrine and exocrine. From the endocrine point of view, you know they secrete the insulin hormone. This insulin hormone they help the carbohydrate metabolism. So carbohydrate metabolism is controlled by this insulin hormone. So when the insulin hormone is not sufficient in your body, that time one disease are happening, that is called the diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus due to the lower secretion of insulin, but ADH secretion when the low, that time the diabetes insipidus are happening. Please you bear in mind. Another one hormone that is secreted, that is the glucagon, which is ultimately control the glycogenolysis and glyconeogenolysis process. That time that means the glycogen are formation also be happening in your body, in your liver cells, which is helped by these hormones. Somatostatin, another one hormone is there, but the most important another one hormone, that is the adrenal glands. These adrenal glands have the two region. Outer region is cortex region and inner region is called the medulla region. So you know the adrenal cortex regions, they are secrete most importantly the three hormone. One is the glucocorticoids, another is the mineralocorticoids, another is the sex corticoids. These three hormones are secreted from the cortex region of the adrenaline. They are glucocorticoids, they control the glucose metabolism, mineralocorticoids, they control the mineral metabolism, and sex corticoids, they help to control the sexual characteristic features of the human beings. But the innermost part, that means the Medulla region. Medulla region, they secrete the most importantly the two hormones, that is the adrenaline and the noradrenaline. This adrenaline is the most important hormone because this adrenaline are secreted in the emergency time, so they are called also with the emergency hormone. So adrenaline is a very important hormone in your body. Now the thymus glands. Thymus glands is very important because they provide the immunity, but when your age is increased, the thymus gland also will decrease. So that is very interesting fact in our human body. So thymus gland, they secrete the thymosin which control our immunity power. So this is the different glands and their function and some disease which we discuss in our syllabus, which one I discuss in our today's session. If any doubts or any question, please write down in the comment section. I can solve this problem in your next class. But next two class is your very important 2 weeks, because these 2 weeks for the Science Olympiads exam class and also for the board exam class. So the total control and coordination chapter, we already completed this part, but now is the time for giving the exam for the next week. Next week you will write down your copy, they have the test for the Science Olympiad exam, and your syllabus is control and coordination, full chapter, right? But after the next week you have also the another test for your board exam, right? Board exam for the CBSE class 10, but syllabus is the same, that is a control and coordination. So next two chapter is very important for you, so please you bear in mind. So very carefully read all this chapter, the control and coordination, the nervous system, the plant movement, and another one that is discussed in our today class, that is the endocrine system and the hormones. All the parts is there in your syllabus. So best of luck all of the student, and thank you very much for our today session. Thank you very much.